Good morning and happy Valentine's Day. Early Edge family, of course, this show brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. I can't help but catch up on the chat before I jump into this show. Hello, Farzad. Hello, Jason Pogwis, KC3. But Reed Phillips, he says, a lackluster day of sports so we can concentrate on those we love, right? Well, I suppose, but I love sports, so I'm going to concentrate on sports. That's all very circular to me. Speaking of, let's take a look at the recap screen. It's a losing day, barely, but a losing day nonetheless. 2-3-1. I go 0-1-1 in my golf picks. Mikey B hits 1 out of 2. The SportsLine pick comes in from JLC, and Mike McClure barely loses his round one under with Rory McIlroy. Well, we're going to not have some barely losses. We're going to have some barely wins and maybe some convincing wins. At least that's what we're hoping for on this day, February 14th, which happens to also be BPE Friday.
Woo! Woo! Let's go!
Tom participating in the routine. He's starting to feel it. We got buckets. He's getting ready. And all of you getting ready, whether you had your espresso, your morning coffee or not, good news, because it's time for your chip me up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Early Edge fam. My heart is beating for all y'all here on this Valentine's Day because we are going into this wonderful period of transition. We've got so many opportunities for you across so many different sports, so many days to win, and it's all from the love of our hearts. See ya.
Oh, wow. Just a perfect transition. Again, very happy Valentine's Day. You all are my Valentines, you three right here, everybody in the chat. Can I just be honest? I'm not a big Valentine's Day guy. I never was. I was never that guy that like would take my date or, you know, my significant other out to like a Valentine's Day dinner. I've done it before, but I hated that moment of like walking to your table and just seeing all of the other couples seemingly forced to do this thing. I would rather do it like the day after, the day before. That was just me. Tom, I see you kind of nodding your head a little bit. Are you share the same sentiment I do?
Well, let me tell you how Valentine's Day is going at my house. Last night, my wife said, you know, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. And I said, it is. And she said, you forgot, didn't you? And I said, yep. I said, can we skip it this year? I mean, we've been married for like 15 years. So, yeah, we'll probably watch a movie or something tonight if I'm not watching basketball.
Buckets, your Valentine's Day plans, are they soccer related? Related?
I'm with you. I also hate seeing all those happy couples in love. It just pisses me off. I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk about footy. That's my only priority. Also,
get married. That'll take care of that.
Hey, listen, I'm not anti-love. It's just like that one day where everybody feels like they got to do the same thing.
All right, I'll stand up for love. Okay, here's the deal, okay? What I do is I throw the coal. I fuel other people's fire, okay? Do I necessarily feel the pressure of delivering one grand gesture? No, it is a vibe. It is a feeling. It is like going in. When I'm walking in with my boys to school this morning, every single kid has got on like red, pink, like, you know, girls have on little heart dresses. They've all got their Valentines for their friends. And you're like, yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Like for somebody who definitely as a general personality trait likes to gas up other people and like help other people feel it. Valentine's Day, it's a day for love. Come on, spread it around.
All right. That's the page turn we need. Okay. We're all pro Valentine's Day now after that. We need some wins, though. Joseph Aker says, treat every day as if it's Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Actually, that's a really good take. That is a really, really good take, Joseph Akers. We don't need one special marked day. We got to treat people like they deserve to be treated all 365. Good stuff from Joseph Akers. All right. Let's try to get some picks out here now. And I see some golf questions already in the chat. I'm going to try to get to those. I know we have soccer questions, probably some college basketball questions in the chat as well. Buckets, I got a question for you. How many picks do you have today?
Sia, I've got 3 picks, and I'm dedicating each pick as a Valentine's gift to one of you 3 here. So we can start with my Valentine's Day gift to Chip, which is going to be a Svein Bundesliga same-game parlay between Magdeburg and FC Cologne. Sia, I know how much you love Cologne. We're going both teams to score in over 2.5 goals here, currently priced at -110. And I will show my bias here. This is my favorite play. So you're welcome, Chip, because if you look at how Magdeburg plays, and if you look at their recent games, you should be betting both teams to score and over 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. This is the kind of matchup you want to ladder. Just looking at their recent matches, a 3-4 loss to Nuremberg, a 5-2 win over Schalke, a 5-2 win over Elversberg, a 3-1 win over Dynamo Kiev. Magdeburg plays that Chip style of football where it's just hype, it's just energy, it's just go, go, go. If you've only scored 3 goals at halftime, your coach is mad at you because you should have had 4 or 5. Absolutely love my Valentine's Day present to Chip. To Sia, I'm giving you a League One Valentine's Day present here between Stade Brest taking on Auger, and we're going with Stade Brest over 1.5 team total at plus 120. So a nice plus money gift to Sia here. Stade Brest, a bit of a disappointment in the Champions League as they got absolutely mauled by a much better PSG side at home. But when you are Brest, you only have one option after taking a loss like that, and you need to bounce back, and you need to do it immediately against an Auger side that is all kinds of out of form right now. I would not be shocked if Stade Brest scored 3 goals here at plus 550, just throwing it out there. But this is a team that when playing at home or on the road, it really doesn't matter. They're good and they're better than Auger. They should score at least 2 here with the attack they have. Third and final play, this one is to you, Tom. We're looking at the matchup between Brighton and Chelsea, and we're going with Chelsea over 1.5 team total, priced at minus 110. This is a weird matchup because these two teams literally just played a couple days ago in cup play, and we saw Brighton win that matchup 2-1. However, Chelsea probably kind of wanted to be out of the cup, if we're being honest. Chelsea has too many things to focus on. They really are making a deep run for a Final Four finish in the Premier League, which means they did not start their best players, and they will be looking again, just like Stade Brest, for the bounce back here. Chelsea over 1.5 team total in a game, which again, they might see 2, 3, or 4 goals. I will take that all day. Happy Valentine's Day to my 3 best friends.
That was beautiful. Although I couldn't help but notice the Stade Brest one, which was, of course, your gift to me on Valentine's Day. The next word after saying like what the matchup was disappointed. So I felt like that was kind of targeted at me. There is a question targeted at you, Buckets, with respect to where people can find these bets. Eddie Cotto wants to know, can you find these plays on like DK or FanDuel or, of course, BetMGM?
These bets will be on every sports book. The first one will be on any sports book as long as you are not in New York. New York is a little finicky with their second tier plays, but you can find these on any major sports books.
All right. As long as you're not in New York. Boo, New York. Get it together, New York. Jeez. First they trade Saquon, or let Saquon Barkley go. Now this. All right, Tom, we're looking at college basketball, but we're not looking. We have a SportsLine pick for tonight, and we have more college basketball from Chip, I believe. But you have a pick with Bama, which is for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm in New York, and I guess when we can start betting on NFL MVP and Heisman Trophy winner, they'll give us second-tier soccer props because we don't get much of a selection here. But thank you, Buckets. I appreciate the pick. Yeah, listen, we got the big one on Saturday, right? Alabama, Auburn. A few weeks ago, I write a futures article every week for SportsLine, and Alabama was plus 600 to win the SEC, and Auburn was minus 195, which was ridiculous. I mean, any team minus 195 to win the SEC with those schedules was ridiculous. So, you know, I took Alabama thinking, you still played twice, right? And I think Alabama is going to get him at home, and I think Auburn's going to get him in the season finale when Alabama goes there. You look at this matchup on paper. Anyone who reads my stuff knows when you get to these close games, I look at 3 things that I think could decide it: turnovers, rebounding, and free throw shooting. Alabama has a big edge in 2 of those. Auburn has the advantage in turnovers. Alabama can be sloppy with the ball. That's always a concern. If you look at the Mississippi loss, they turned it over 21 times. Can't do that. But they have a big edge on the offensive boards. Auburn is not a good defensive rebounding team. Close games, second chance opportunities. And the other one, see how the officials are calling it early. Because if they're blowing the whistle, that's going to favor Alabama. They're top 20 in getting to the foul line, and Auburn fouls quite a bit. So if Alabama is going to shoot 10 to 12 more foul shots in this game, that's a huge edge, which is a pretty even game on paper. I like the Tide here on the money line. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be back and forth. They're going to split this year, I think. Tide at home. Then in the season finale, we'll come back with Auburn.
Yeah, this one's really interesting. I really love the angle you offered there at the end with the free throw shooting, especially when you're talking about this this just kind of high intensity game, which is always like high intensity for the officials as well. Home team maybe getting a couple extra calls at home, good free throw shooting team. That could end up being the difference. I think that's a really interesting angle. Chip, you're no stranger to college basketball. I'm curious, any takes on Alabama, Auburn, whether it's for this game or a national championship run? I know Tom has talked about these two teams quite a bit when it comes to maybe a potential national champion.
Specifically to this game, and just sort of building off what you were saying, you're going to have more possessions. You're going to have an Alabama team that is trying to get to the rim. Like, you are going to be having just so many more opportunities for those free throw line situations to be able to come up. I mean, this is the Alabama Nate Oates game plan. Threes and get to the rim. Like, this can all of a sudden put Janai Broome in foul trouble. This could all of a sudden start to really test Auburn's depth. And look, we do love what Auburn has been, just an absolute juggernaut, but it is, a sum of its part type team. And if Broome is not there, then knowing who's going to be the player to step up, that could be something that really gets tested there in this first matchup. I'm fired up. I lean Tom's way as well. I do think Alabama wins this one.
All right. And we had a question, interesting question, actually. Any thoughts on UCLA, Indiana from Steve Folkerts? Well, we do have thoughts on that. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Nice transition. But before we get to that, how about a different college basketball sports line pick? We're going with St. Louis Loyola Chicago under 140.5. This one courtesy of Bruce Marshall. Again, Loyola Chicago, St. Louis under 140.5. If you want to make that bet or any of the bets you've heard or are about to hear, you can go to BetMGM. We've got this awesome first bet offer plus a free subscription to SportsLine. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, sign up now and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM plus a 1-year free subscription to SportsLine with bonus code SportsLine1500. Get exclusive members-only picks for all major sports from proven models and 40-plus Vegas experts, plus predictive tools for pick'em, brackets, player stats, and more. Get this offer in 4 easy steps. Download the BetMGM Sports app and register an account using bonus code SportsLine1500. Make your first deposit of at least $10. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses, and claim your free 1-year subscription to SportsLine in your BetMGM inbox. What a great promo. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to way more picks. I got some golf picks to give out. I got to bounce back 0-1-1 yesterday. I got to get a win on the board. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
Gives it to Jenkins for the championship. A 16 beats a 1. From sweet to elite to the Final Four.
We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas, all in a very good Valentine's Day mood. We're dancing, we're moving, and we're hopefully hitting some winning picks. Peyton Gerard says, Sia, do you like the Scheffler 3-ball? Scheffler plus 110 over Hideki and Morikawa. Not particularly. I mean, it's always nice in a 3-ball to get Scheffler plus money, but I mean, that level of competition, I mean, I could see Scheffler having an above average day, but one of those other two having a great day. So I lean Scheffler, obviously, but Peyton, I don't think I would take that. Here's what I will take. Let's go to a 3-ball first. And you can find these 3-balls everywhere. The next two I'm going to give out are actually at DK under specifically, and hear these words carefully, 3-ball matchups. That's where you can find the next two. But I have other things to recommend as well that you can find at any book. Here's the one that you can find everywhere. A round 2 3-ball. I like Min-Woo Lee, plus 125 over Mackenzie Hughes and Eric Cole. There was a question earlier at the beginning of the show. Do I like Sahith Theegala over Min-Woo Lee? No is the answer to that question, because I do like Min-Woo Lee in this tournament. Plus 125 over Hughes and Cole. This one's pretty easy from an analysis standpoint. I don't think Cole has a chance in this 3-ball matchup. I famously said that before, and Peter Malnati won a 3-ball. So you never know with golf, but Eric Cole does not rate out well. He didn't play well, and he hasn't been playing well. This is not the course for him. Mackenzie Hughes is kind of sneaky. He can really get there with the short game and really navigate a tough course. But overall, Min-Woo Lee rates out so much better. And at BetMGM, you're getting plus 125 here. Or I should say, it might not be a BetMGM. It's anywhere between plus 110 and plus 125, depending on what book you're looking at. But I really like the plus 125 number. And I do think this is a battle between two guys, Min-Woo Lee and Mackenzie Hughes. Shane Lowry over Jason Day is my next one. Shane Lowry minus 115 over Jason Day. This is under 3-ball matchups over at DK. This one was my last bet in, so take that for what it's worth because both these guys are playing well. I just think Shane Lowry is a better course fit. I think both of them have been playing well. They're both decent course fits. I just think Shane Lowry is the better player in tougher conditions. Minus 115 over Jason Day, I think is a pretty good deal. And by the way, another pick I was considering was Shane Lowry top 20 in this tournament at plus 105. I do think some of the guys that are at the top are kind of middling players. I do think they're going to fall back a little bit. Players like Shane Lowry are going to continue to move up. He's currently T20, and I do think he lands inside the top 20. Again, that's plus 105. And then finally, Ludwig Gobert over Thomas Dietrich. This one's kind of juicy. It's minus 140. And if you don't have this pick available, I don't mind the Ludwig 3-ball, which is plus 140. And it just includes Jordan Spieth. So it's Oberg over Thomas Dietrich and Jordan Spieth. And that's plus 140. But I'd rather isolate Dietrich here, who, by the way, is playing really well. Oberg wasn't great on approach yesterday, but in general, I think he's the way better player. I wouldn't say minus 140 is a deal. It's a lot of juice, but I expect Oberg to play really well today. So I'm going to take him minus 140 over Dietrich. Again, the 3-ball, definitely a lean in Oberg's favor. Any of those jump out to you, Chip Patterson?
Oh, yeah. Well, 100%. Number one, the Shane Lowry jump on him at top 20 at plus 105. Like if you're trying to add, I mean, you go in with your portfolio. We've got all of our top 20s. We've got all of our top 5s, top 10s, our outrights. You know, if you were to throw in something that feels a lot more than a coin flip, Shane Lowry being able to hold his position with everybody else on that leaderboard, given the conditions, especially that they have. I love that. That's a way to maybe you, I don't know, random person out there had way too much invested in Rasmus Højgaard. I don't know. maybe you're finding yourselves with a couple of stinkers right there on the tracker and you need to be able to get something back. Love that call right there. And then I also wrote down the Ludwig play just because he got through. I'm going to be talking about sickness in a little bit. He got over the virus, took him a little while to get his legs back under him. Yeah. I see his trajectory sort of being a little bit on the way back up.
Buckets, can I ask you something? I know you don't cover golf, but you also don't cover the NFL, nor does the coin, and it went 18-4 on interception props. Do you like the Shane Lowry top 20 play at plus 105?
Who's he against?
Well, he's against nobody. He has to finish inside the top 20. Yeah.
Oh, 1v80 does not sound like good odds to me, Sia. I'd probably stay off of that one.
Very interesting. All right. Can you flip a coin or something? I'd rather get a better analysis. While you're doing that, Chip Patterson, you have a college basketball pick tonight to give out. And Steve Folkerts really wanted an answer to the question. What do you think about UCLA, Indiana? Go ahead.
Well, Steve, I love this game. I mean, it is the ultimate battle of like trends, narratives, storylines, because UCLA has yet to win in the Eastern or Central time zones, period. They are 0-5 when they have left the Pacific and Mountain time zone. And that led Mick Cronin to go on his long rant about how many times he's seen the Statue of Liberty in 3 weeks and how many times he's seen the Capitol. And then all of a sudden, they go play Illinois. And what UCLA has been dealing with is what a lot of America, as best as I can tell, has been dealing with. It's a lot of that norovirus, a lot of that illness, a lot of that sickness. They dealt with it against Penn State. They were able to win. They were still had it lingering a little bit against Illinois. But if you listen to what Mick Cronin is saying, he is so happy with the way his team has been able to continue to battle and continue to not let this keep them down. Illinois could have run away and won that game by 20, but UCLA came storming back. And this is the key, they didn't fly home. So they have now been in the Central time zone for a couple of days. They've been able to get acclimated. They've been able to hit that IV and continue to flush out all that virus out of the locker room. I think that the better team, UCLA, playing against Indiana, is not going to be flummoxed by Indiana's zone defense that caught Michigan State off guard. Mick Cronin's had some time to prepare an answer for that. I think that this UCLA defense is going to be a problem for Indiana because this Indiana team, they've got a lot of size. Well, guess what? So does UCLA. And so with the size to be able to battle Omar Ballo, with a defense that's going to force a bad three-point shooting team to shoot a lot of three-pointers, and with a Bruin squad that I don't think is just going to roll over with a little bit of time to just sort of stay and get acclimated to the conditions, I like UCLA on the money line. A little bit juicy, yes, but 1.5 is the spread as we're talking right now. I would rather pay a few more cents in the case of a 1-point win.
All right. UCLA minus 128. Tom, any follow-up thoughts on that game? You don't have to have a lean either way. I'm just curious from an analytical perspective.
Yeah, I like the spot for UCLA coming off a loss. One of the things I always try to remember are these are college kids, and not like me in college. They're not doing funnels and snorting Jägermeister, but they're they are. So sometimes when you're winning a bunch of games in a row, you'll go to a place like Indiana. You might overlook them a little bit. You might be looking ahead to another game. I always like when teams are coming off a loss because it refocuses them. And I agree with Chip. I think the difference here is going to be UCLA's defense. You can't really look at the metrics for them because they didn't play well earlier in the year, but Big Ten wise, UCLA is back to being UCLA, and Indiana just has games where they have trouble scoring. I think this is going to be one of those games.
All right. Absolutely love the follow-up there. Bucket, speaking of follow-up, people want to know, is anything coin related? I mean, Mark Buchholz says you need a magic 8-ball. I assume you know what that is, where it can kind of fortune tell a little bit in situations like this where it doesn't come down to a coin flip. I think that's an interesting content drop there from Mark Buchholz. But any thoughts from the coin on Shane Lowry top 20?
So first of all, I just need to show you this, Sia. This is the coin we're using. It is a commemorative coin from the 1994 World Cup held in the United States of America, including a certificate of authenticity here. So I am going to go ahead and give the coin a flip. If it is heads, we assume he finishes top 20. If it's tails, we're saying he's finishing top 10. This is hitting either way, but we're going to figure out just how well it's going to hit here. So give me a moment.
All right.
Boop, boop. So we got heads. So the top 20 looks good, but I don't know if I'd go much past that, Sia.
Very, very interesting. Can I just say this is not something I really ever do. In fact, I don't recall the last time I did it, but Claire, I'm going to ask you to throw on the recap screen for me, because I was going to do this anyway, regardless of the outcome of the coin flip. Shane Lowry, T20. This is how it's written out. Shane Lowry, T20 plus 105. Just need you to add that to the recap screen there. We already got a flash of the picks. We're going to add one more. And while we're doing that, I do want to answer a couple of questions here.
I saw a Sienna Marist question. I'm still working on getting my action, the MAAC. Still working on getting that dialed in. I don't know if Tom's got something there.
Sienna Marist, Tom?
I don't have a strong play on that game. I haven't really been that great in the mat. At this time of year, I like to gravitate to a couple of conferences where I'm really good at. And the MAC this year hasn't really fell for me the way I thought it would, so I've been kind of staying away from it.
Bruce had to play on the Loyola SLU under. I was eyeing Loyola there. They've won 3 out of their last 4. They beat St. Joe's, who's like, one of the better teams there in the A10. And then this was the nugget that I pulled specifically. Obviously didn't end up firing on it, but might as well spread the knowledge. The home winning percentage, just straight up winning percentage for all Atlantic 10 conference games is 63.6%, which is 6th among all Division I conferences. So as you're starting to look for some of those conference-wide trends, whether it's like in the MEAC, the free throw rate is through the roof because in conference play, they've been getting to the free throw line a lot more. Well, the home teams have been winning in the A10 at a high clip. So when you're looking at a coin flip type game, Loyola, St. Louis, maybe Loyola trending in the right direction. Josh Shirt's St. Louis team a little bit up and down like an EKG meter. Maybe you do want to go with Sister Jean and the Ramblers here on a Friday night.
By the way, speaking of Steve Folkerts, appreciate everybody's contribution, especially Steve today. He said Sacred Heart plus 3.5 for Valentine's. That's actually pretty great. I might have to take that. There was one other question. About Roy McIlroy under 70. I think the number was 71.5. Those aren't usually my plays. I know that was Mike's play from yesterday. I will say this. If Mike liked it yesterday, it almost hit. It really should have come up. Roy had a couple of bad holes where it just wasn't very Roy-like, but the conditions today should be at least a little bit better than yesterday. With that said, I would imagine this is a play that, and I'm not speaking for him, that I would imagine this is a play that he wouldn't mind going back to. So I do like the Rory McIlroy under there. I think that's the same number he gave out yesterday. And again, with conditions a little bit better, and Rory expected to play at least a touch better, I do like the under there. All right. Let's get to the recap screen before we get out of here. Sorry, I was trying to look at additional questions, but let's take a look at the recap screen. Let's see if it's updated. I got a lot of picks here. Minwoo Lee plus 125. over Hughes and Cole. That's a 3-ball, of course. Then we got Shane Lowry minus 115 over Jason Day. And we added Shane Lowry T20 plus 120. Actually, that's plus 105, I believe. Yeah, it's plus 105. So we'll change that. But FYI, it's Shane Lowry T20 plus 105. And then finally, Ludwig Gobert minus 140 over Thomas Dietrich. Chip Patterson, UCLA minus 128. That game is tonight. And then buckets, you're going to need to do this one for me.
We've got Magdeburg taking on FC Cologne. Both teams to score in over 2.5 goals. Stade Brest taking on Auger. Stade Brest over 1.5 team total. And Brighton versus Chelsea. Chelsea over 1.5 team total.
All right. And then we've got Bama tomorrow, minus 118 against Auburn. Of course, that is from Tom Casale. In our SportsLine pick, that one we've got an under, I believe. The SportsLine pick is, correct me if I'm wrong. There we go. St. Louis, Loyola, Chicago, under 140.5 at minus 105. That is courtesy of Bruce Marshall. John says, let's go, fam. Let's see. Can't spell buckets without BTTS. Well, that's not true, but I wish it was. We need another T in there. Maybe you could add a T to your name because that would actually be pretty great, Swish. Thanks for the comment nonetheless. Thanks for everybody hitting the like button. Let's hit some of these golf bets, some of these college basketball bets, some of these soccer bets, of course, and let's have a great Friday. Let's have a great Valentine's Day. Let's have a great weekend. On behalf of Tom Casale, Buckets, Chip Patterson, Claire on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Again, let's have a great weekend, everybody. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.